This is a show about facing fear, unlocking courage, and taking action.
Courage isn't necessarily a daunting thing.
It's going to give you more purpose. It's going to give you more drive.
It feels like making a courageous decision is going to get you closer to who you aspire to be.
It's knowledge plus faith plus action equals courage.
To bet on self, silly, you need to be calm enough to slay your own nervous system, clear enough to stay locked in on your desired targets, confident enough to attack a world full of gravity, convicted enough to believe in your mission, and courageous enough to take action on it all. Welcome, folks, to another edition of the Courageous Podcast. I had told my team that I would be better at doing more solo missions. And actually, it was really cool to hear from many of you. They're like, yeah, keep doing it. And so here we are. This one's going to be short, sweet. It is Memorial Day weekend when I'm recording this. And man, I definitely needed the 3-day break. My Friday was bonkers. Counted on my hand. I was in 5 different cities on Friday. I woke up in Milwaukee, was with Kohl's, helping them figure out their transformation. Has been a lot of fun. And then I had to fly. I drove to Chicago at 6 a.m. just to fly out to Oklahoma City. And then that afternoon we were working with the leadership team at Harrah's. It was actually their executive leadership team of 6 and then another 21 managers. And they just recently launched Harrah's in Oklahoma. And so they're learning how to be a team. And there's a big difference between a group and a team and stuff that I've been studying from the Navy SEALs. And I'll spare you the details on that, with the exception of groups have purposes and teams have shared purposes, right? Groups have accountability, teams have shared accountability. And if you're not talking about it in a shared fashion and you're not having those conversations, you're in trouble. So we basically were able to set up a 2-hour workshop with him where we discussed the differences between a group and a team. And then we talked about the type of team we want to be. And we showed all these personas, and off and running we went. From there, I basically raced to the airport, got my tail back to San Diego, but I had to land in Dallas first. Classic situation, long weekend, delayed for 2 hours, and sat on the runway for an hour. This is my life, people. Got home at 1 a.m. So here we are. I'm 2 days since that. I'm really grateful to be off today, but wanted to share like a quick little snippet with you because it's been a while since I've done a solo episode. And how I really wanted to start was with my favorite quote of all time. And it's a German philosopher quote, Arthur Schopenhauer. And the quote is like from the 18th century, I believe. And he says, all truth passes through 3 stages. First, it's ridiculed. Second, it's violently opposed. Third, it's accepted as being self-evident. And I absolutely love this quote. I mean, first of all, pretty cool that the quote is over 200 years old and still remains as relevant today as it was when Schopenhauer said it years ago. Again, I'll say it again. First, it's ridiculed. Second, it's violently opposed. Third, it's accepted as being self-evident. So, yeah, 1, anytime you do anything courageous or new, you're going to have haters. You're going to have people that are saying that's a stupid idea, or, oh yeah, let's see if you can pull this off. It's just so easy to come at it and tell you all the reasons your idea isn't going to work. Second, it's violently opposed. So as you pick up steam, even more people are going to hate on your idea. And then third, it's accepted as being self-evident. There's no celebration. There's no moment for the party to raise up your glass and do a little bit of toast. And people are like, oh, I could have come up with Google. That was easy. And so I just find it ironic as you think about doing something unique, being an entrepreneur, or just being entrepreneurial at work. You're always going to run into resistance. You're always going to run into somebody that's going to tell you why you have an idea that isn't going to work. And all of this leads to me going back even a week. So if we took a time machine back a couple weeks ago, my wife and I, we celebrated our 15th anniversary. And we are the type of people that are grateful that we live this close to Mexico, because we actually zipped down to Cabo for a few days And, we ended up taking our kids. I got a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old. I talk about my kids a lot, but we brought them with us. And people have different perspectives on should you take your kids on an anniversary weekend. So we did. We brought them with us. They still like us. We still want to spend time with them. But one of the cool things was they're old enough now that they could be in the water playing while I'm on the beach reading a book. And so I am that guy. I was reading Burn the Boats by Matt Higgins. Great book if you haven't read it. And when I say I'm that guy that's got my pen out and I'm highlighting and I'm underlining. And it was somewhere in Mexico where I realized that this was the first moment in about a decade that I hadn't been on a writing assignment. And, whether it was Return on Courage or the last 6 years with the Landon book or working with Rhett Power and Susie Burke on Headamentals or even working with my kids on Opposite Town, my kids' book. Here I was for the first time, like actually having a moment to just sit and breathe and think and, go back to the Schopenhauer quote, think about even how am I going to continue to move and to innovate and to move forward. And there was just, a combination of great thoughts that came from this book, Mr. Higgins, but also just great quotes, right? Like one of them that I love that I, underlined was inaction can cost you far more than failure. Or data is secondary, make a gut sandwich, right? It's like, my brain sees what I need it to see in those particular moments. And as I think about like my next move, my next leap, and some of you know this who have been on the Courageous Action Chats, which we now do quarterly, and that's bringing leaders together to have a real conversation. We don't record it, we don't put it out because we want leaders to keep it real. By the way, if this is interesting to you and you want to join one, let me know. Email me, ryanberman@couragebrands.com, and come join the community. But the more I thought about community and the more I'm reading this book, I'm like, wow, I need to continue to create conditions where I bring this community together. It's just becoming obvious how lonely it is out there. And I think when you're a leader, the higher up in an organization you get, the more alone you feel. And one of the aha moments I had recently was like, yes, it's hard to be you. It's lonely to be you, but you are not alone. There are so many people right now that feel alone trying to figure out their next move or figure out the right move inside their company. And I keep, I have the luxury of seeing across verticals and talking to all these different types of leaders. And what I really want to do is start to connect them so they can collide and share stories and help each other. And, one of the leaders that I had spoken to who's been on this podcast, Anthony Wells, she was, running the show over at Pinterest. And we were just having a heart-to-heart. And she said to me once, Ryan, I don't need my 100, I need my 5. I just need my 5. And so, that means I've got to create the right type of group of thinkers, of feelers, of doers, of people that have that perspective so you can find your people inside of that. So, as I'm reading this book, Burn the Boats, I can't help but thinking of how do I continue to build what I'm calling the pride. Maybe it's because my last logo was the lion and there's a pride of lions, but I want to bring this pride together and I want to start bringing leaders together for these action chats, probably for retreats as well. And by the way, classic me, it's funny. I was having a conversation in New York City a few weeks back about the word retreat. And almost how that's the opposite if you think about what the word means. To retreat is to go back, right? Retreat, let's get out of here. But I actually like re-space treat. I'm on the record saying the re sets you free. And sometimes that's rethinking your tomorrow or reinventing the business or repositioning the business or re-galvanizing your people. So what is that re that's going to set you free? And in the spirit of retreat, space treat. These should be treats. This should be the best part of your year is coming together and being inspired by other people and and connecting with people and other verticals that you can learn from that may see things that you don't. So, the universe keeps throwing interesting things at me where I'm like, all right, if I'm going to be a rock that continues to skip across the pond, and we've been doing tons of advising and coaching for executives, and we've been consulting for businesses. There's the coaching side and the consulting side. Now it's really time for me to build up this community side. So again, one, if this seems interesting to you, email me, let me know, come be part of our community. If I'm missing something, if there's enough communities already out there and the last thing you need is another community, let me know. Seriously, would love to know. So I think between the Schopenhauer quote of there's going to be resistance, reading a book called Burn the Boats, which is all about moving forward, and then sharing the idea of building the pride and what it means to be part of that, whether we're going to create adventures that bring us together and learn something together, or these retreats, space treats. That's kind of where I am right now, is I'm trying to even convince myself and speak this into existence that we're going to go for it. I wanted to share something I wrote that I have on my phone as my wallpaper. And I am definitely the type of person that I need to see it over and over again. And with those reps, it becomes more real for me. So I have this little screen grab now, and it's just the word boss. And boss stands for bet on self, silly. And I don't know if it's on my phone because I need constant nudging that I'm going to continue to move into this community arena. I know in my heart it's the right move for the business. It feels like it's the right move for all of us that are out there that are trying to navigate all the crazy that's going on out in the world. But I just wanted to read this little note that I wrote to myself. If you don't bet on yourself, if you don't take life into your own hands, if you think the cavalry is coming, if you wait or worse, expect someone else will swoop in to save your day, if you wish someone else had that power, you are wrongly mistaken. To bet on self, silly, you need to be calm enough to slay your own nervous system, clear enough to stay locked in on your desired targets, confident enough to attack a world full of gravity, convicted enough to believe in your mission, and courageous enough to take action on it all. I'm sure there's something right now in your life that you're thinking about running after. It could be a promotion. It could be a new job. It could be a new hobby. Maybe in your heart of hearts, you're spending too much time on something you shouldn't. Be a boss. Bet on self, silly. Find a way. Again, I'll read it one more time. If you don't bet on yourself, if you don't take life into your own hands, if you think the cavalry is coming, if you wait or worse, expect someone else will swoop in to save your day, if you wish someone else had that power, you are wrongly mistaken. To bet on self, silly, you need to be calm enough to slay your own nervous system, clear enough to stay locked in on your desired targets, confident enough to attack a world of gravity, convicted enough to believe in your mission, and courageous enough to take action on it all. I go back to the Schopenhauer quote and I think about no matter what you do, if it's new, you're going to have someone talking smack about you, or you're going to have somebody being the gravity for you, telling you why you can't do it, why your idea is not good enough. And again, they're just putting their own shit on you, really. So the thought is figure out a way to move forward, turn it into an experiment. You don't have to boil the ocean out of the gate. Sure. Hey, pick up Burn the Boats from Matt Higgins. Super good read. I got through it in 2 days, but I just love the idea. Inaction can cost you far more than failure. There you go, right? Like I've always said, courage is regret insurance. So if there's an idea you're thinking about right now, and you might regret it down the line, take a cut. Go for it. Bet on self, silly. All right, hope you all have a great week. I know by the time this runs, it's Thursday with a nice short week. We got Friday tomorrow, weekend ahead. Summer is coming. Get after it, folks. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Courageous Podcast. If you enjoy the show, don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts so more people can find us. See you again next week.